Hi and welcome back to the channel. This is video 4 on our Firefly FFMN upgrades. What does it take to make this guitar a professional instrument? Something that will hold tune and be dependable. In the last video, video 3, I said video 4 was going to be us taking this instrument upstairs and plugging it into an amplifier to see what it sounds like. And I've been playing the guitar for 2 weeks, running it through its paces, finding out its shortcomings and what it's really good at. One of the shortcomings, though, that I've run across is on our low E string. And this came about due to one of our upgrades. Our upgraded saddles are a little larger than the stock saddles. And when you set the E string intonation, this saddle sits back. Well, the rear saddle's larger than the stock. And there's very little space here for this saddle to move down. When you turn the fine tuner, it pushes on the screw, which makes the saddle do this. Well, the saddle's making contact with the bridge plate, and it's only allowing us to get about 30% of the tuning capability out of the bridge. I'm going to move the camera and we're going to get a better angle on it, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, here we are at our bridge. We've got a good view of it, and this is the problem area right here. This fine tuning screw pushes down on this screw, which in turn rotates this piece off this pin. And you can tell there's no room for this to rotate when you tune with your fine tuner. There's no room for this screw to go down. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to loosen the strings, take this saddle out, and we're going to have to machine a 45 in the back of this saddle to give this saddle room to go back and forth, up and down, like this, so our fine tuner will work. Okay, I'm going to take the pressure off the string. First thing I need to do, we need to push this forward. We need to unlock our lockers at the top. I'm going to slide the guitar back up. Start detuning. And I believe I showed this trick once before. We're going to take a piece of tape, and we're going to put a piece of tape right here to get our intonation close. That way we're not guessing when we go to reinstall it. So here's our piece of blue tape. And I'm going to take this and put it right in front of that saddle. Let me get my pick tool here. I'm going to lay that try to get it as close as you can. There we go. Now I believe I need to put my tool right here. Take a little bit more pressure off of it. This is just a basic straight edge that I've put blue painter's tape on so it doesn't stretch the instrument. And take our tool. There, and take our number 3, loosen our string, And make sure you tighten this back up so you don't lose your locking block. Just needs to be snug. We're actually going to have to take that out so we can remove the saddle. So I'll go back to that. These tools have a really tight fit. You want to make sure there's no shims underneath your saddles when you go to remove them. See how the block fell out? So I'm going to take that block and I'm going to put it right there so we don't lose it. So what we need to do is we need to machine the corner off here. And you have plenty of thread. See how much engagement there is in there? So let's take this over to the belt sander and do some work. Okay, here we are at our belt sander. We have our saddle. We also have a cup of water, because this part will get hot. So the video is about to get a little louder. Now the belt is running that way, and I want to hold the saddle like this. So it's going to want to flip that saddle like that. So I want to turn my belt sander around. Okay, got the belt sander turned around. Now the belt is going that direction, so as I put this on it, it's going to want to drag the back to where it stays like that. And yes, that is my guard dog. So I'm looking at our cut here, and we're not getting an even cut. So I need to be really careful now, because I've cut just about enough off. I don't really want to remove any more. I just want to clean up what we have. What we can also do is use the disc sander, which is right here. And with that, we can kind of hold it square. Let's see what we have. Looks like we need to take just a little bit more off the top here. And I'm going to do that by changing my orientation on my block. there's our finished product. Okay, here's our modified saddle. And we're going to put it right back where it came out. We want to orient our little block so our hole here is towards the back and down, so our locking pin or screw can lock it. I'm just going to spin it on hand tight, and we put our piece of tape on so we can take our screw and align that saddle back to the tape, and that's going to get us really close. Now we're going to remove the piece of tape. Oh, we need to leave that in because we still have to put our string back. Let's loosen this. Just put our string back in its home. Take our piece out, and let's reapply pressure back on the E. I am going to unplug my little amp here, plug in our tuner, and give it a quick tune. We're going to check the intonation. You move the tuner over here so you all can see it a little better. Alright, we're going to check our 12th. Open. 12th. And we're going to do our normal routine, hard, soft. Hard, soft. I'm going to move my finger around a little bit. Towards the end of the fret. Yep, it's still good. It's an average. So the tape trick worked. Now, let's see how much movement we have in this saddle for tuning. Oh, look at that. So now we can take this and we can go all the way down with it. That's good. The only other thing I have done to the guitar, we'll unplug here. I'll flip the guitar over and you all can check it out. I had one red Floyd Rose spring on it, and I kind of like just 3 black ones. It seems to work much better just with 3 black ones. So that gives you a good idea. Now the next problem I'm having with the guitar, after all the modifications, is if you remember, we took blue Loctite and we locked this bass down. But if you look, the bass isn't moving. It's this piece in here. This little grommet. Now you can get the play out of it, but you have to tighten it to the point where, see? Now there's no play, but it's very stiff. So if you loosen this to the point where it'll move, there's a little bit of play. So I think what we're going to end up doing is changing the bar over to a true Floyd Rose bar. I was hoping just to replace the bar. Here is the Floyd Rose bar, and here is our bar. That's in the, you can see there is a difference. The reason the Floyd Rose bar doesn't have the slop is this centering pin. So down in here, there's a small hole, and that centering pin fits into that hole. So when you thread this down, it is now in that small hole, and it takes that slop out and allows you to still have a little free movement when you're moving this back and forth due to that centering pin. So let's flip the guitar over and see if we have access to that screw. Alright, I've reinstalled our bar. I'm going to try to use that to hold it from rotating. And you can see that it's just spinning freely there. Nope, it's still spinning. Well, it is no good, so it really doesn't matter if we damage the threads. Get my tool back on. Move our tools out of the way. Try to get that block out. There it goes. Okay. Now we need to get our new one. Let's see what size. This looks like 3mm again. That's 2.5. Here's our 3mm. Yep, that's what size it is. Rubbing alcohol. Any new part, wipe down with rubbing alcohol. We're only doing this to get the cutting oil off our new screw. You can see the black. That's that oil. So that's clean. And I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol down in here and clean it. And now I have to locate my blue Loctite. Okay, blue Loctite. I'm going to take a little blue Loctite and put on our threads. Just work it on there. And then just a little bit on our piece here. So that sits in there like that. We take our screw, put it on our top cap. Get our tool ready. And we're going to flip our guitar on its side. I'm going to hold it here and then screw the back in. Whenever it decides to start, just make sure we've got the, oh, we've got it the wrong way. There it goes. Roll the guitar over. Now if you look, the reason the Floyd Rose one is better, look right here. There's little notches. Those little notches cut into the piece of metal, so this can't rotate. Also, so you don't have to hold it with a tool. So let's go back under, get our tool in, and we can watch that sandwich into the plate. I have to turn the guitar over and get some pressure on it. May need my other tool. Here's my 3mm with the hole. Put that tool in. Just double check. It's pretty close to seated. Now it's seated. So let's take our new bar that has our fancy pin. There we go. No more slop. And the bar can still move. And it doesn't have any slop. There we go. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. And hopefully that's going to be the last thing that we need to do to this guitar. I'm going to play it for about a week just to double check and make sure all the bugs are out of it. And the next video, I promise, will be this guitar hooked into the amplifier to see what it sounds like. If you like this kind of content, please hit the like button. And if you would, please consider subscribing. And again, I want to thank everyone that has already subscribed to the channel. It lets me know that I'm doing what you all want to hear and see. Anyway, thank you for clicking on the video.